Welcome. Get ready for a very different kind of journey. A journey that will take us to a place shrouded in mystery. A place many tried to enter, but very few ever returned to tell the tale. They say it's a house that never ends. That's why they call it the no-end house. A strange legend spread across the internet. Some swear they've seen it with their own eyes, while others dismiss it as nothing more than a creepypasta story. But one thing is certain, anyone who's been inside that house never came out the same again. This isn't a game. What you're about to hear is not for the faint of heart. So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and come with me, deep into the heart of the house that has no end. Entering the house. The protagonist of our story was just an ordinary guy, curious, like anyone who stumbles upon a strange legend online. His curiosity began when a friend told him about a house on the edge of the city. Nobody knew who owned it or where it came from. Rumor said, if you could make it through all 9 rooms, you'd win a huge cash prize. He thought to himself, why not? It's just a house. What's the worst that could happen? When he arrived at the address his friend had given him, the first shock was how normal the house looked. Just an old villa with dusty windows on a silent street. No cars, no people. It felt like time had stopped. He stood at the front door, heart pounding in his chest. He reached for the knob, turned it slowly, and stepped inside. The door slammed shut behind him with a deafening bang. He spun around and tried to open it again. It wouldn't budge. That's when he realized this wasn't going to be an ordinary adventure. Room 1. The first room looked deceptively simple. A narrow space, faded wallpaper, and a dim yellow light hanging from the ceiling. Nothing scary at first glance. But something was wrong. Every step he took echoed back to him a half-second later, as if someone else was walking just behind him. He froze. The echo repeated. He turned sharply. Nothing. He forced a nervous laugh. Clever. Just psychological tricks. But his body told a different story. Goosebumps rising, pulse racing. The room stretched longer than it should have. Finally, he reached a wooden door with a cold metal handle. He grasped it and entered the next room. Room 2. The temperature dropped instantly. His breath turned to mist. The walls were gray and moving, expanding and contracting like the lungs of some enormous creature. From the corners he heard skittering. Tiny shadows darted across the walls, disappearing whenever he turned his head. Then came the whispers, soft at first, then louder. Voices calling his name. His blood ran cold. How do they know my name? He bolted for the door, heart hammering, every step matched by phantom footsteps behind him. He shoved the door open and stumbled into room 3. Room 3. Silence. The cold and noise were gone. The room was dark except for a faint glow far away. He relaxed, maybe a break. Then it started. A shadow flickered behind him. He spun. Nothing. 2 more steps. The shadow returned, closer this time. The sound of heavy breathing filled the room, so close he could almost feel it on his neck. And then, something rushed at him. A long black form, like smoke with claws, surged forward. Just before it touched him, it vanished. He didn't wait. He sprinted for the door and hurled himself through it. Room 4. This room looked like a living room frozen in time. Old couches, cracked furniture, family photos hanging crookedly. He stepped closer to the pictures, and his stomach dropped. They were from his childhood, his school, his home, his family. But all the faces were wrong. Eyes blackened, mouths stretched into grotesque smiles. One photo showed his mother holding his hand as a child. Her head slowly turned within the frame. Her lips moved silently. Then her real voice whispered behind him, "Come back, sweetheart. This house isn't for you." He spun. Nothing. The voice came again. Closer. Then again from the other side. Surrounding him. He shut his eyes, ran for the door, and burst through. Room 5, he froze. Mirrors. Dozens of them, covering the walls, ceiling, and floor. At first, just reflections. Then one didn't move. He raised his hand. Every reflection mimicked him, except one. That one smiled, a dark, twisted version of him. The reflection stepped forward inside the glass. He stumbled back as cracks spread across the mirrors. One by one, all of his reflections twisted into those evil grins. They pounded the glass, whispering his name in unison. The sound rose into a scream as the mirrors began to shatter. He bolted for the exit, the sound of breaking glass chasing him out. Room 6. Screams. That's all he heard. The moment he stepped inside, the air split with thousands of tortured voices. Men, women, children, wailing as if being torn apart. He covered his ears, but the sound drilled into his skull. Among the voices, he recognized some. His friend, the one who told him about the house. His mother, begging him to turn back. The whispers returned, circling him. You are ours. You will never leave. The floor wasn't solid anymore. Shadows churned beneath the surface, stretching hands toward him. The door ahead drifted further away every time he moved toward it. The walls pressed in, the screams louder, suffocating. Summoning every ounce of strength, he ran. Suddenly the door was right there. He crashed through room 7, darkness, total and absolute. Not normal darkness, but a thick, tangible black that seemed to cling to his skin. Something massive moved nearby. He couldn't see it, but ground trembled under each step. A low growl rolled through the room, vibrating in his chest. Then, eyes, huge, red, burning in the dark. They blinked out, reappeared closer. A guttural voice whispered his name, slow and broken, as if the earth itself was speaking. Blindly, he stumbled forward until his hand struck something cold. A door handle. He flung it open and dove through. Room 8. Relief, familiarity. It was his bedroom. Exactly the same. Bed, desk, photos. He touched the blanket. It felt real. But the details, wrong. The faces in the photos blurred. His reflection in the mirror moved half a beat slower. Then the hallway outside creaked. Footsteps, heavy, approaching. The door opened by itself. Nothing there. He understood. This wasn't home. This was another trap. He forced himself through the far door. Room 9. He froze. A wooden chair sat in the middle. On it was himself. His double looked up, lips curling into a wicked smile. At last, it said, but there is no end. You don't leave this house. You become it. The walls filled with mirrors again, every reflection showing the evil version of him. The screams, whispers, and footsteps from all the rooms roared back at once. The real him clawed for the door. Gone. No exit. The double stood, walking toward him as the room closed in. His scream was swallowed by silence. The chair was occupied again. Only the dark version remained, grinning as though he had been there all along. By the next morning, the house itself was gone. Neighbors swore there was never a villa on that street. That's how the no-end house survives, appearing in random towns, luring in the curious, swallowing them whole. Each victim replaced by a copy. The cycle goes on, forever. Listen carefully. If you ever hear of a strange house on a quiet street, if someone whispers about the no-end house, don't dismiss it. Don't laugh. Because many people laughed, and they never came back. The house isn't a game. It's a trap. Maybe right now it's far away, or maybe it's closer than you think. And maybe you're next. This was the story of the no-end house. Do you think it's just a story? Or could a place like this really exist somewhere out there? Tell me in the comments below, would you dare step inside if you found it? If you enjoyed this tale, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss more terrifying stories. And remember, the next time you walk down a dark street and see a strange house you don't recognize, think twice before opening the door. Good night. Or maybe, don't sleep at all.